Visions, I've seen it in my manifestation. I'm sleeping this guy and gonna create the most viral knockout ever.
We're sparring.
Warm up.
Some
I know
8-year-olds. I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm gonna beat your ass, and I'm gonna beat Jaden on Love. On my mama, I'm gonna beat both of y'all ass.
Impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
Gervonta Davis exploded in anger after Jake Paul allegedly boasted he'd knock him out within just 3 rounds, a statement that instantly raised the stakes. Analysts say Davis is risking his legacy here, stepping into what many call a mismatch. A loss could invite heavy criticism. Still, if Davis conquers Jake's hype, size, and power, the win would become iconic, the kind of defining moment that cements how fans remember him forever.
I think Davis is more to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you. You can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? There's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks...
The answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah, but if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion in multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside, as boxers, me and Chris Aldrey, the champ, even you, Jimmy, you have fight experience, so we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you. You're probably going down if you're a small guy, if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public. So there is a lot to lose, though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing, and I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot that he still hasn't earned, mind you?
Jake Paul has turned up the pressure, boldly claiming he'll score the knockout of the year against Gervonta Davis. This isn't just another fight for him. It's a stage to prove legitimacy and shock critics. His words show ambition beyond winning. He's chasing a moment that dominates boxing headlines. For Paul, this bout isn't only about victory, but validation. A mix of brute force and showmanship that could redefine his career.
Fighters, because this thing is going to be watched by hundreds of millions globally. Jay, give the people one thing that you can guarantee that they're going to get on November 14th when they tune in to Netflix.
Yeah, you're gonna see the 2 biggest fighters in America go head-to-head with an amazing card. World championship fights back to back to back, and that's just how the MVP way we do it. And I'm gonna come for a knockout of the year again. I've seen it in my visions, I've seen it in my manifestation. I'm sleeping this guy and gonna create the most viral knockout ever.
Rolly Romero weighed in on what a potential Jake Paul knockout would mean for Gervonta Davis's reputation, and he's not worried. Romero reminded fans that Davis is already a 3-division world champion, respected across boxing circles. Through social media and interviews, he stressed that one loss, even a dramatic one, can't erase years of dominance, belts, and hard-earned legacy that Tank built inside the ring.
Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him. Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or like all that stuff, right? At the end of it, bro, we just want to do what's best for ourselves, right?
Facts.
Right or wrong.
Facts.
So just do what's best for you.
Or Romero gave a realistic view of the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight, saying Tank's legacy remains untouched no matter the outcome. Davis is already a multi-division champion with nothing left to prove. Still, Romero acknowledges Paul's size advantage as a genuine threat. Yet, that physical edge doesn't undo what Tank's achieved over years of discipline, skill, and unmatched performances inside boxing's toughest arenas.
Too big for him, but like Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know. Like I said, or as an exhibition, we don't know if they throw at each other or not, or we don't know. I don't know. I can't give an opinion because I don't know what's going on.
Do you think it impacts, will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were to beat him or even knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
5 Daniel Cormier was visibly shocked upon hearing that Davis agreed to fight Jake Paul. In a recent clip, DC called the matchup absurd, labeling it a total mismatch. He questioned why a world-class boxer like Tank would share the ring with an influencer-turned-fighter. Cormier admitted he never expected Davis's career to take such a crossover turn and voiced concern that the size gap and spectacle could overshadow Tank's professional legacy.
I swear to God, I was on a plane coming home from Las Vegas. When Luis told me Gervonta Davis is fighting Jake Paul, I said, get the bleep out of here. I said, you're a bleep liar. Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. Gervonta Davis is that much better than Jake Paul at boxing. But Gervonta Davis in his last fight weighed 133.8 pounds. And I'm not over here in the business of just crapping on Jake Paul. I am much more respectful of what he's starting to build as a professional boxer. You're fighting a guy that's better than you. He's just much smaller. But that guy, because he's better than you, what if he wins? Everything Jake Paul has done is wiped completely out. Gervonta Davis loses to Jake Paul. Obviously, it's going to hurt who Gervonta Davis is, but he lost to a guy that's going to be upwards of 70 pounds bigger than him when he steps into the boxing ring. But I will tell you this right now, without a shadow of a doubt, I will watch this. Tank Davis is 30-0-1. You want to talk about Jake Paul fighting a real boxer? That's a real boxer. You can't make this stuff up, man. It's true. They're fighting.
KSI didn't hold back when addressing the hype around influencer boxing. He slammed how these crossover events blur the line between competition and entertainment. In his video, KSI accused Jake Paul of ruining influencer boxing, saying his over-the-top promotions chase attention instead of athletic credibility, turning the sport into more of a show than a genuine contest.
AJ and Jake was never gonna happen.
I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought it was actually gonna happen? Bro, it's so crazy. I feel like so many people just believe everything online.
But that's pretty unbelievable on the other hand.
I feel like I know. Well, okay, how do I say it like this? Itoma versus White. I had a lot of people bet on White winning. And I'm there like, you guys don't watch boxing, do you? You just look at a record and go, oh, Dylan's fought many more people than Itoma. That record says a lot. Itoma's like 18, not 18, Itoma's 20, inexperienced, 1-1. I just knew Itoma was gonna just destroy him. And I think a good fight for Itoma would be him and Wilder.
Even boxing journalist Gareth A. Davies raised major concerns about the upcoming Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight, calling it another example of spectacle over substance. He argued that the weight difference and exhibition setup damaged the sport's integrity. While he admitted the event will attract massive attention and money, Davies warned it risks turning boxing into pure entertainment, eroding the respect it once commanded as a true competitive sport.
Signed. I think we've gone out of the frying pan and into the fire because we thought we were going to get Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua very soon. We'll speak to Frank Smith about that in the next section, obviously. Eddie Hearn was teasing it to me personally last week, £80 million on the table for Anthony Joshua to fight Jake Paul. But 8 inches in height difference, 7 weight divisions between them, 5 stone, 70 pounds between them. It's a joke. It's a circus fight as opposed to a disgrace of a fight, which was Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. At least you feel in this, you've got quite a poor, very big one against a pound-for-pound, brilliant, unbeaten little un. And the little un who'll come up to his navel will hit him with a lot of body shots. I said in the week to Danny Kelly and Charlie Brooker that, do I mean Charlie Brooker? No, Baker. Charlie Baker. That Charlie Brooker's a different person altogether. That he'll be throwing the Superman punch, the leaping left hook. It's going to be a very odd thing. It's called, in inverted commas, an exhibition bout. But everybody in boxing who is a name doesn't mind going in with Jake Paul because they know they're making millions of dollars. And that's the only reason that Gervonta Davis, who's being called the poison little elf by Jake Paul, and it'll be fun in the build-up. Everybody in boxing knows they're guaranteed to make millions of those silverbacks, those greenback notes that they give out in America, and they give them out for fun when Jake Paul fights. So he's not going to say no to it. But can you pick a winner in that fight?
Tank Davis has openly shared what's worrying him about the Jake Paul matchup as fight night draws near. He admits Paul's size, reach, and raw power are real concerns, especially since Tank's never faced someone built like him. He's focused on adapting, studying Jake's rhythm and resilience. Still, Tank promises that on November 14th, he'll rise to the challenge and leave everything in the ring. Supporters of the bout say this fight captures modern boxing's new era, where athleticism meets influence. Jake Paul, rooted in entertainment, has drawn a new generation of fans who value personality and hype as much as skill. Meanwhile, Davis represents authenticity, grit, and raw emotion, traits that younger audiences crave in a sport that's becoming more about moments than medals.
Has been 4 years in the making, when a fairly novice Jake Paul made a wish list of future opponents, and right in the middle of that list was Gervonta Tank Davis. Many laughed at the time, and some still can't believe we're here. But these two young men are the face of boxing for Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They are the two biggest boxers in America, and they are putting it all on the line. One has the speed, the skill, the accuracy, and the one-punch knockout power. The other has the size, the force, and the unbreakable confidence to make this must-see Netflix.
Does Jake Paul have that concerns you?
What concern me, his power. Gotta test his power. Gotta test his, just everything, to be honest. I never been in the ring with Jake, so I could say a lot, but when it comes down to November 14th, you know, I gotta be in there with him. I gotta be able to, you know, his arm reach, his size, his power, you know, the way he moving and things like that. I just gotta adapt, you know, as I fight him come